Gratitude has a big PR problem. You know, it gets tossed around a lot in self-improvement circles nowadays. But what doesn't get mentioned while everyone is talking about it as the cure to our self-inflicted woes is the bad rep that mean people have given it over the years, especially mean people close to us. Or that a spoonful of emotional sugar is still kind of needed to help the medicine go down. Well, you know what? I want to shine a light on those two ideas a little bit more and maybe help us get some more gratitude into our lives. Hello and welcome to the Equal First podcast. My name is Rob Farker, and with this show, I want to help you treat yourself like a human being worth caring for, so that you can show up fully for the people around you. I'd appreciate very much if you could give this episode a like and subscribe to the show so that you can get notified whenever a new episode goes up. Tell me if you've heard this before. You should be grateful for everything I do for you. Now, you've probably heard it, if you've heard it, come from either a parent or a relative or someone who is an authority figure in your life when they're in a bad bloody mood. Now, how often did you hear the word grateful or gratitude in any other context before self-improvement started bandying it around, even while it was being bandied around as such? For so long, gratitude has been linked in many folks' lives, and if you're watching this episode, probably yours too, to self-loathing, the idea that you're a bad person, that you're ungrateful, you're an ingrate, that you aren't giving other people their due for all of the hard work that they see themselves as putting in. It's like telling someone to work on gratitude is like learning how to appreciate others by doing detention, writing lines on a chalkboard, instead of doing, hang on a second, let me just reassemble my train of thought here because something kind of leapt to mind. It's like taking affirmations and turning them into writing lines on a chalkboard, like Bart Simpson at the beginning of every episode of The Simpsons. And you all saw how much he enjoyed that. The only thing that Bart was grateful for in that whole process was the ringing of the school bell, so he could be the hell out of there on his skateboard. You saw that big grin of joy on his face as he leapt on his board over the steps of the school front door and out into the street. So how the hell can you appreciate what others do for you when they only tell you that you should be doing it when they're in a bad mood, when they're not even modeling it themselves for you so that you can look at them and go, wow, that's what gratitude looks like. I'd like to be that more often. So yeah, all of this has given gratitude a huge PR problem. Of course, it can be overcome. But while it takes discipline, the bit where you perhaps do have to sit down and repeat some affirmations to yourself on a regular basis, it also needs an emotion that is counter to all that misery and self-loathing that has been built up over years and years around gratitude, that sometimes makes all of that self-improvement advice a little bit laughable when you first hear it. Gratitude? Really? That shit is the key to a good life? The thing is, gratitude, like love, isn't an emotion. Yep, I know. Weird concept, something that few people rarely talk about. I've mentioned it a few times before in various things that I've put up, but I'm of the belief that love and gratitude aren't emotions. They're states in which certain emotions are more likely. You know, it always feels weird describing emotions, trying to put an internal experience into a word or two and hoping that it leaps the gap between me and you, that the word that I'm using makes sense to you and hopefully triggers that emotion within you. Still though, I think there is a word that is common enough and maybe not used too often, but often enough that people are familiar with it, that I think will trigger that emotional state in all of us. And that word is glad. You see, when I use that word, you probably felt, or at least you leapt to something that you associate with being glad, or something that you have in your life that brings that smile to your face and that sense of, I guess, warmth in your chest. I'd use the word tingling, except tingling, when I'm not nudging my own microphone, tingling kind of makes you feel a little bit more excited, when gladness, while there is an energy to it, of course, it's a bit more settled. It's a bit more contented. And sometimes I think that glad is a better word than happy. Happy, again, is one of those words that gets banded around, but doesn't exactly get defined all that well. And you know what? I think that gladness and contentment are the most fertile ground that a human being can have for curiosity and a genuine sense that you are thriving in life. I mean, if we're talking about the bad PR that gratitude has, you're definitely not curious when you're miserable and loathing yourself, that's for sure. You just want to lock yourself away from the world. Why would you want to inflict the world with yourself, this miserable, self-loathing, ungrateful person that everyone tells you that you are? Come to think of it, gladness and contentment, aren't they, with maybe a little bit of a fillip of attraction and highness, the core emotions of love too? Maybe gratitude is a form of love. Or maybe love is a form of gratitude. So, in conclusion, trying to tie all this up, I think that while gratitude may need a little bit of help in the PR department, it doesn't need to be some sort of lofty thing that perhaps the pedestal that we try and put it all on. Maybe it's just noticing the gladness in those small moments, whether you're just relaxed on the couch or spending time with your pet, or standing outside on a bright sunny day, or even feeling the rain on your face. Maybe that is enough. Just doing those small things consistently are what is going to help gladness and gratitude grow naturally. So I tell you what, if you got something out of this episode, or if this episode got your brain all whirring, please get in touch, or if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment down below. I'd like to know, what's the last time that someone told you that you ought to be grateful for what they do for you? And what is something or someone that you feel glad for having in your life? Thank you very much for your time. Please share this episode with someone you reckon it might just help. And in the meantime, until the next episode, whether you're kind to yourself or kind to others, be kind.